Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for today's show. We are back with some more transfer-related content as we gear up for the transfer window in January. But you're probably thinking to yourself, Ozzy, it's November. Why are we doing a transfer talk show? For some reason, there are a lot of rumors circulating the internet right now, so I thought it's only right we start discussing these rumors and analyze the possibility of any of these deals happening in the next window. So let's start with the first rumor, and that is Loic Bade from Sevilla. So apparently, Liverpool have agreed a deal for the French centre back, with the fee being rumored to be around £20 million. My initial reaction was, okay, this seems a bit of a random one. Early in the summer window, we all said that we wanted a centre back, ideally a left-footed centre back who could play left back. Well, Bade doesn't fit that bill. He's a right-footed centre back by trade, so he's not able to play at left back. That's not his forte. But what I do know is that he's been a player under our radar for a number of years, so that'll probably include Michael Edwards there. Ability-wise, I think he's a fantastic defender. As I watched a few games when he was playing for Rennes a couple of years ago, he then made a surprise loan move to Nottingham Forest. I think he picked up an injury, so that didn't work out. And then he ended up joining Sevilla on loan. And since then, he's had a fantastic spell at the Spanish club. If we actually signed him, I would be pleased that we got him, as he is a good defender. I believe he's someone with huge potential. He's tall, aggressive, and he's very good on the ball. But if there are any truths to the rumor, for me, that would possibly single out the end of Joe Gomez's career at Liverpool, as I would assume that he would take his place in the squad. Currently, Sevilla are having some sort of financial situation where they need to raise the funds, so that's probably why this story is being circulated around the net. My gut feeling is telling me that there's nothing to the story. I don't think there's any truth to it, but who knows. On to the next player, Milos Kerkez, who's currently being linked with a £40 million move to Liverpool. He's been regarded as a potential long-term replacement for Andy Robertson. Profile-wise, I think he certainly fits the bill. However, what does that mean for our current left-backs? Robertson has not had the best of seasons so far. He's had a dip in form in recent weeks. But there's also rumors circulating that he could be offered a new contract from the club. So that would assume that he's not going anywhere. And also for me, Tsimikas has had a great start to the season. And right now, I believe he's the best left back at the club and deserves to be playing week in, week out. So I don't think it's a position that needs to be addressed this coming window, unless Tsimikas leaves, which I highly doubt. And I would actually think it's a wrong decision from Liverpool to sell him, because he's had a very positive start to his campaign. So I have some doubts in terms of this rumor being true in regards to a January window. However, I do believe he could be regarded as a target for next summer. Left back is definitely a position that I do feel like will need to be strengthened in due course. So hopefully Richard Hughes can use his contacts at Bournemouth, as he was the sporting director that brought Kerkez to the Premier League. But in terms of the player himself, I do rate him. I think he's had a fantastic season for Bournemouth. He's one of those players where, in terms of attacking sense, he's very aggressive, very good in terms of his crossing ability. But defensively, he's actually good as well. You know, we've a lot of left backs. I'm thinking the likes of Aït-Nouri, who's also been linked to Liverpool. His defensive capabilities are questionable, but I think if you compare the two players, I think Kerkez is better when it comes to one-on-one duels, and it's just a bit more defensively sound. One performance that really stood out for me for Kerkez was the game against Man City, where he pretty much provided 2 assists in that game. So for me, he's more of a summer transfer target rather than a target for January. On to the next player. Now, this player is an absolute baller. His club Lyon are in some serious problems right now, and fortunately they could be going into admin very soon. So they're trying to raise the funds to avoid that from happening. And one of their star players could be available for a cut price of £20 million if rumours are to be believed. If you're not familiar with Cherki, he is an attacking midfielder who can also play left wing or right wing, and he's a wizard on the ball. He has so much skill, so much flair. He would be a joy to watch in a Liverpool shirt. However, I would have some reservations with his temperament, as his form has been up and down. But, let's put the benefit out of the doubt. He is a young player. And I think he probably just needs to work under a coach like Arne Slot, who I'm sure could help him improve his mentality as a player. I could see him really flourish in our current system. His best position would be in a number 10 role. Some will say that we're stocked in that position with Szoboszlai, Harvey Elliott, who's yet to come, and also Curtis Jones, who's played there a few times. But Cherki is a special talent, and sometimes you have to make way for these type of players. Do I think if there's any truth to the story? I'm hoping and praying there is, but it's still too early to say, as it will depend on Lyon's current situation. Not too sure in terms of if it's something that's going to be resolved, or if there's potential investors that might save the club. Who knows? But definitely want to keep an eye on, especially if Lyon going into admin, there'll be a lot of players departing. So Cherki will definitely be on top of our list, to say the least. On to the next player. Brazilian centre-back Murillo is having a great season for Nottingham Forest, who are currently at the top half of the table. He's had so much of an impact. He's actually also been linked with a move to Real Madrid, who are in dire need of a centre-back after Militao picked up an injury with an ACL. But Nottingham Forest have slapped a huge price tag of 80 million. So as Craig David would say, I'm walking away. On to the next one. Christian Pulisic, another player who's having a fantastic season for his club this season. He scored against us in the Champions League in the opening minutes with a decent strike. But for me, there's no truth to the rumours at all. Why would he leave a club like Milan, where I think he's actually found his home and he's playing some of his best football to date? Plus, and this is not me throwing any shade to the player, I don't think he'd get into our team. Heck, I don't even think he'd get into our bench. So, for me, this rumour has no legs to it whatsoever. He's pretty much a player that's in great form for AC Milan, and I expect to see him there in the coming years. Now, if you've watched any of my shows regarding transfers this season, you know this is my guy. And shout out to Steve, one of our subscribers, who's also a big fan of the player and rates him just as highly as I do. And, another music reference. As Gunnar would say, this player is one of one. For me, he would be the perfect addition to the squad. He's a left back by trade who possesses great speed and great technique on the ball. But not only that, he can comfortably play at centre back. He's actually the Ajax captain and he's only 18 years of age. So you already know he possesses leadership qualities. And for him to have the opportunity to play alongside another leader in Virgil van Dijk would be an appealing prospect. So all I have to say to FSG is get that checkbook out. Joel Hatter, for me, is the answer in terms of that left back and centre back position for Liverpool. So let's see what happens in the coming weeks, and hopefully we'll see him in a Liverpool shirt. Well, that's what I'm dreaming of anyway. Omar Marmoush, the Egyptian prince, has been on fire this season for Frankfurt, and there's no surprise that he's been linked with a move to Liverpool. So far this season, in all competitions, he has scored 14 goals and 10 assists. Profile-wise, he's an interesting player. When I first watched some of his compilations, I thought he looked more like a natural left winger, someone that attacks the channels very well. So I wasn't too sure if he was the right player that we needed, because we already have Gakpo and Diaz occupying that left wing position. But after watching a bit more, I like what I see. In our team, I think he would play a similar role to what Jota does, where he leads the line but can also drop deep and attack the left channel if required. So I think we have a strong chance of signing the attacker, especially as we have his countryman Mohamed Salah in the team, and I'm sure it would be a dream for him, as as two Egyptian players playing alongside each other for one of the best clubs in world football. But if I was to make a prediction, I do believe he will be a Liverpool player, but not now. He will possibly join the club next summer. I don't see him leaving the club in January. So yeah, one to definitely keep an eye on. I think he's definitely Liverpool bound, and there's already been comments made from the sporting director at Frankfurt saying that Liverpool seems to be his likely destination. So definitely one to look out for in the future. Next rumour, Marcus Thuram linked with a £75 million move to Liverpool, which, seems like a crazy price tag, to say the least. He's having a good season for Inter Milan, but I just don't think he's the right player for us. He's a player that can play across the front line, but from what I've seen over the years, I just don't think he's clinical enough to lead the line and play for a club like Liverpool where, the pressure is always high. And for that fee as well, it's definitely not a non-starter. So for me, it's just paper talk and nothing more, nothing less. So I'll be speaking about a lot of players possibly joining Liverpool. What about possible players leaving Liverpool? So Kelleher, what can I say? The best number 2 in the world, let's be honest. He's showing his quality once again as Alisson is on the sideline. But with Mamardashvili joining Liverpool next summer, the writing seems to be on the wall for Kelleher to leave the club and fulfill his ambition of being a number 1 elsewhere. Because for me, he's more than good enough to be a number 1 goalkeeper at a respectable club. Right now, he's actually being linked with a move to Chelsea. For the player, that would be a fantastic move, as he'll certainly be first choice. He's better than Sanchez and whoever they've got under their box. And it's a club that, they've probably not performed as well as they would like to in the last few years, but they're definitely a club on the up, and they will be competing for trophies. So from a Liverpool's perspective, if they want to attain Kelleher, they will need to pay an inflated price, as we won't sell him for cheap, especially to a potential rival in years to come. So from a personal point of view, yeah, it's a good move for Kelleher to play at an established club, but Liverpool will need to make sure they get, I say, 40 million for him minimum. I think if it was, a club that's not regarded as a rival, maybe around 30, 35, but I feel like he's worth so much more. And this season he's showing his quality even more. So I'd say I'd go for 40 plus million, if I'm being honest. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, it's not a Liverpool transfer show if I don't mention the name Tchouameni. We've been pursuing this player for quite a while now. But will he finally make a move to Anfield? Honestly, I don't think so. Rumours have a lot of injuries in their squad, so he's not even up for sale in this next window. But in the summer, it could be a different discussion, as he could be made surplus to requirements, as his time at Real Madrid hasn't gone to plan or as successful as he would have liked. So I don't think there's any truth to the rumour. And even regarding a summer move, I think we have a very slim chance of that happening. As he could turn his career around at Real Madrid this season, and he could have a long-term future there. So let's see. But could you imagine Tchouameni in our team? I think he'd be an absolute monster. Imagine him and Gravenberch in a double pivot. That is a mouth-watering prospect. So, we can only dream at this stage. I don't think there's any truth to rumour whatsoever. Next target, Jonathan David. The Canadian striker is being linked with a move to the Reds. He's currently on his last year of his contract and will be a free agent next summer. But from what I know, I believe he will be allowed to discuss with other clubs and possibly sign a pre-contract agreement in this next window. So do I rate him as a player? I do. He's a decent striker. He's not an out-and-out striker, but he's one of the strikers that can drop deep. Play is sort of like a false 9 position, but he's decent in terms of his finishing ability. But for me personally, I would like us to sign a lethal frontman who will start ahead of Jota. And you guys know how much I rate Jota. Next season, I would like Liverpool to sign a striker with real quality and real firepower to guide us into hopefully more trophies in the years to come. I just don't think Jonathan David fits that bill. If he was to join the club, he'd be second choice to Jota. I don't think he'd overtake Jota in the starting lineup. So for me, I need someone to take over Jota's reign as the main striker. Not down to Jota's quality or anything like that. I think Jota's availability is the big question. So you'd want to sign someone that's better in quality, but can also stay fit and lead the line in a number of games within this team. So for me, no, he doesn't fit the bill in terms of the profile that I think the club should be looking at. This name just doesn't seem to go away, and there's constant rumours still linking the player with Liverpool. It's not a secret that this player was Arne Slott's first choice, or a player that he really wanted us to sign last summer in order to help transform the team. Now, ability-wise, he'd be a fantastic addition to our team, and I don't think many of us would question his quality as a player. My concern with trying to pursue this player once again is more from a personal point of view. We don't know exactly what happened last summer in terms of why the deal collapsed. Was it due to Liverpool trying to negotiate a release clause? Was it us not willing to pay what was asked? Did the player have a last minute issue where he just didn't want to join the club? Was it his missus that influenced his decision? A lot of rumours, a lot of stories were circulating in the summer, and to be honest, we'll probably never know. But what I do know is that he has rejected clubs in the past due to personal reasons, and also not willing to relocate. So if he's not confident about relocating to a new country, a new league, a new surrounding, then for me, he needs to stay put. And Liverpool just need to walk away and identify another player instead. I know he's a quality player, but for me, there's no point in signing someone who joins the club, becomes homesick, and then we have to, sell him onwards. It's a waste of time for everyone. So let's see what happens. I think in terms of what he would bring to the team, yeah, I feel like we are missing that sort of deep playmaker in our sort of ranks. But I don't know. I still have reservations about his commitment to the club if he was to ever join. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm sure his name will be doing the rounds in the next month or so. So, for a fact, this won't be the last time that I mention him. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think. Mohamed Kudus, he was on fire for West Ham last season, but it hasn't gone to plan so far this season under new coach Lopetegui. He's been played at left wing, which is not his best position. I know his left foot is, so you just assume he'd fit in there naturally, but he's better on the right side or even through the middle. And he just doesn't seem to be enjoying his football at the minute. So it's understandable that the media are linking the player for a move away from the London Stadium. However, as much as I rate Kudus, his transfer fee would be ridiculous. And I'm talking the region of 80 plus million. So for me, he's not worth that price. And let's be honest, we don't really have a real urgency to sign a winger at this stage. I know we signed Chiesa and he hasn't played as of yet, but we pretty much have the numbers in the front line. So for me personally, I think a number 9 is the target for next summer, and that should be the profile that we should be looking for rather than a winger / inside forward. But that's just my opinion. Looks like this Turkish international is hoping to be reunited with his former coach from his final days. Gökçe has recently said in an interview that Arne Slot is the best coach he's ever worked with. So huge praise there. And you can tell there's a bond between the player and manager. They've spoken highly about each other in the past. Would he be a good fit for the team? I think he would be, as he can play in a double pivot and can even play in a number 10, where he's got the freedom to roam around the pitch. Very good left-footed player, very technical. So he would fit the bill in terms of what we need in the team. But I just don't see us pursuing the player in this window. Plus, I think as a club, we should stay away from doing any business from Benfica, who seem to have ripped us off over the years. So yeah, it's a no-go for me with regards to Koshi leaving Benfica for Liverpool. Another player that's been linked with Liverpool is Valencia midfielder Javi Guerrero. The player has been earmarked as the next Xabi Alonso. So huge expectations on the young man's shoulder. I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of the player. But because we've now been linked with him, I will be tuning into some Valencia games. And if he plays anything like Xabi Alonso, then yeah, we need to keep scouting and make sure we make some bids in the next windows. But if you're familiar with the player, feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you think in terms of his ability and would he be a success at Liverpool. Liverpool linked with another wonder kid, as reports are suggesting that we are trying to sign Red Star Belgrade's Maximovic. The player has been likened to Lionel Messi. Hey, look, it's not my words. It's what the report says. So I know whenever I hear someone likened to Messi, I'm automatically skeptical about the player. And I haven't seen much of him, so I can't really comment, what sort of player he is. But based on what I've read in the report, it just sounds like paper talk to me. So I don't think there's any legs to this rumor. Now, this is an interesting rumor that's been circulating the last few days, as apparently Liverpool have begun initial talks with Brighton for their midfielder, Carlos Baleba. The centre midfielder is having a fantastic season for the Seagulls, and I've been impressed with his performances so far this season. He's a big, powerful midfielder who's got a fantastic all-round game. He can pretty much do everything. He's got a good passing range. He can dribble with the ball, and he's got a lethal shot on him as well. So he's certainly a player with huge potential. And I'll be honest, I'd be happy for us to sign a player like Baleba, as I believe he would offer us something different in midfield, and that is that he is a left-footed player. But Brighton would not let him go for cheap unless he's got a release clause like McAllister did, which I'm sure he doesn't. And they're going to demand a huge transfer fee. I'm probably thinking around 60 million plus. So we'll see what happens. I don't think this is a move that we'd consider in the next window. However, he could be a summer target, in my opinion. So definitely one to look out for in terms of watching Brighton, see how he develops. I can definitely see him moving on, respectively, to a big club in the future. Now, it's only right that we speak about some of our Liverpool players. So we'll start with Trent in terms of their contractual situations. Mixed news in terms of what we're reading in the media regarding Trent Alexander-Arnold. 1 minute, it looks like he's staying. The next minute, it looks like he's leaving. Yesterday, there was a picture of him circulating, being interviewed, and people assumed that it was an announcement video of a contract extension, which I don't have any sources or anything, but I know that's not true for a fact. The presenter that he was standing alongside is Ruby, and she's been doing a lot of vlog content for the Liverpool channel. She did one recently with Curtis Jones, so she's just filming another show. So that wasn't for a contract announcement. And then today, there was a billboard in Madrid, of all places, of Trent Alexander-Arnold and his girlfriend, Iris Law, as the face of the brand Guess Jeans. So some fans automatically thought, yeah, he's Madrid bound. If they're promoting his new modeling range in Madrid, it must mean he's going there. And you can't make this stuff up. As a fan base, we can be a bit insecure, but all I can say is just we have to wait and see. I am concerned that there doesn't seem to be any developments with regards to these contractual situation. But what we do know is that hopefully there's something going on in the background. We can't say for sure, but you're hoping and praying that there is some sort of dialogue in the background. And, all we can do as fans is wait and see. No one has the inside scoop. It's pretty much behind closed doors right now. So let's see what happens in the coming months. Virgil van Dijk, there was talks that they had open discussions and things were positive, but now there's rumors circling that with the Loic Bade deal agreed, apparently, he's actually been regarded as Van Dijk's replacement, which is probably why apparently we're getting the deal done so soon before the summer. Personally, I don't buy it in terms of that rumor being true. Out of all the players, I'm quite positive that Van Dijk will stay, but what do I know? And the last player, same as Van Dijk, I thought the player and the club were in discussions in regards to a contract extension, but I've not really heard much, to be fair. And some are even saying that Cherki is being pursued as his long-term replacement as well. So, look, all I can say is that it's going to be a stressful couple of months for us Liverpool fans. With January looming, these players are eligible to have discussions with other clubs across Europe and worldwide, and they can agree pre-contract agreements. So let's hope and pray that all three players sign extensions with Liverpool, of course, but who knows? Before we close the show, I'm just going to go through the comments here. Abdul Rahim, he says, good evening, Aussie and chat. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Walaikum assalam, Abdul. Hope you're doing well. We're all good. Thank you very much. He also says, like, comment, share, subscribe. Southampton versus Liverpool this week. We need to keep on winning and improving game by game. You never walk along, and many thanks. 100% agree. We need to continue our winning streak and climb up that table. We're already at the top, but we need to extend that lead with more points. And Abdul's comment here is, we require additional squad players, reinforcements during the January transfer window to enhance our chances of securing major trophies such as the English Premier League and the UEFA Champions League. I couldn't agree more. I feel like we're in such a great situation right now. I'm just hoping that our owners show a bit of ambition and use this to our advantage, where we're on top right now in terms of the Premier League and the Champions League. And if we're able to add more quality to our squad, it only strengthens our chances of progressing further in these competitions. And not just these two competitions, FA Cup and League Cup. I want it all, to be honest with you. So whether that happens, it remains to be seen. I've learned that with FSG, you can't have huge high expectations in terms of player recruitment. The last summer was great evidence of that. So all we can do is just be hopeful that we acquire some new players. But who knows? It would be a smart decision to add one or two players. I think a midfielder would make sense because I think we're light in terms of numbers. And a centre-back or a left-back possibly. Not even a left-back, to be fair. I think a midfielder would be the prime position that I would like us to add in the window. And if we sign a centre-back, great, but I don't think that's huge on the list. Having said that, if we pick up one or two injuries, then we are, screwed in that regard as well, because Konate, for me, has been fantastic, but he is, touch wood. I don't want to jinx it, but he does a pick up in injury here or there. So you'd want someone to be more understanding. But then we've got Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez, who haven't had much game time, so they're available for these kind of upcoming fixtures. So I'm positive in terms of our pursuit for these trophies this season. I do feel like one or two players would definitely benefit the squad, and we can heavily rotate the right way as well. So who knows? Remains to be seen. And Abdul Rahim said, could you please provide a LFC players performance review for the current season so far, along with an assessment of which player require further development, good, sell, loan, bad, and improvement? That's a great concept there. I probably won't do that right now, but I'm going to make a note of it, and I'll probably do this as a dedicated show rather than just give you my thoughts here and there. So I feel like this deserves my full attention. So yeah, definitely one to look out for. I'll probably do it in the coming weeks, and then probably do it match week 19, where it's like halfway through the season. So that'll be a good assessment point of where the team is and how the players are doing. So yeah, I'd probably say we're approaching match week 11, I think now. So yeah, match week 12 now, I think it is. So yeah, so that'll be in the next few weeks. So look out for that one. So yeah, thank you for your suggestion there. I'll definitely make a note and make sure I produce a show for that. Could you also please provide a detailed analysis, pre-review, pre-match, and breakdown of the upcoming 5 games for Liverpool Football Club this season? I can do a quick one right now. So let me have a look at our fixtures, and then I can go in a bit more detail. So we've got Southampton, obviously, this weekend. Just because they're a team that's at the bottom of the table, we can't look past them. We can't look towards that Real Madrid fixture. We've got to make sure, it's all hands on deck and we get the win at St. Mary's. It's an away fixture, so it can always be a tricky affair. I think I don't want to keep saying it because Arne Slot mentions it all the time as well. We have to have Nottingham Forest in the back of our minds because those are the results where we didn't expect to lose and it happened. So use that as motivation to make sure we get past the line. But I'm very confident that Liverpool will get the job done and get all 3 points this weekend. And then the following fixture will be against Real Madrid. I'm looking forward to that one. In terms of their personnel, they've got quite a few injuries. I believe Tchouameni is playing centre-back right now. And I'm not even sure who's playing right-back. I think it's Valverde playing at right-back because both of their right-backs in Carvajal and Vasquez are injured now. So they're struggling for players right now. So it's a great opportunity to play Real Madrid and get one over them because it's definitely due with the amount of games we've lost over the years. So that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. And the Man City one, which is the following fixture on the 1st of December at Anfield, I'm very confident about this fixture. Probably more so than I've ever been playing against Man City. I just feel like we've got the edge over them right now at Anfield as well. I think we can get the win. So I'm very confident that Liverpool will be victorious in that one. Then we've got Newcastle on the 4th of December, which is not an easy tie. It's at St. James's Park. Always a tricky encounter and a match that's always filled full of goals. It could be the same one for this fixture. So not an easy one. Newcastle have been showing some good form. They've definitely improved in the recent amount of games. So we've got to be on top of our game for that one as well. And then the 5th fixture is Everton versus Liverpool. So Merseyside derby. It's at Goodison on the 7th of December. It's a midday kickoff. So yeah, not the time slot that we like. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. No international break, which is good news because that is a bit frustrating. The only thing is that the Newcastle fixture is on Wednesday. It's a midweek fixture. And then we've got Everton a few days later. So not a lot of rest for the players there. So I'm expecting heavy rotation for that Newcastle game. And then leading up to the Everton game, I feel like we'll be in full strength. Or it could be the other way around because no disrespect to Everton, they're not doing very well. And I feel like maybe Arne Slot will rather rotate his squad for that fixture and then play a stronger outfit against Newcastle. So remains to be seen. But hopefully Liverpool do not have any injuries from this international week. And we've got a fully fit squad ready to face these upcoming teams in the next few weeks. So yeah, a lot to look forward to as Liverpool fans. Adrian says, when is Jota, Alisson, Chiesa and Elliott will be back for the upcoming games? We need depth, rotation, reinforcement and cover for all areas of the pitch. So I saw earlier today, Alisson and Elliott look like they were doing training today. So they should be available. Whether they're available for the Southampton game remains to be seen. But it's good news that they're back in action, training with the rest of the boys. So it's a positive step in the right direction. Regarding Chiesa, I'm not too sure in terms of where his progress is with his injury. And it's the same with Jota. Because Jota picked up a broken rib or ribs injury, you can't really put a time frame of when he'll be back. It's something that I feel like they just, they monitor and then see when he's fully sort of 100% to be out there. Because if it's not healed, then there is a possibility of it, getting damaged again. So who knows? No sort of feedback in terms of Jota's injury, but I'm sure we'll hear in the coming days with Arne Slot doing a press conference. So hopefully it's some good news for us. Daz, it says, big up Aussie. Where can we pressure Southampton on Sunday? I would say our wingers will definitely play a part. They tend to play a back three / back five, however you want to phrase it. So I feel like that would be an area for us to exploit. They've got a Japanese fullback in Sugawara who's very good in terms of the attacking sense, but does leave gaps behind him. So whoever plays on left wing, it could be Diaz, it could be Gakpo, an area for us to exploit. And Salah, for me, has been showing a different trait in terms of coming in field and being more of a playmaker. So that could definitely cause havoc. Jota would really suit this game, but I don't think he's fully fit. So we'd probably have to have Núñez. Well, I wouldn't mind playing Luis Diaz up top. But it'll depend, in terms of who's available. But I don't have too many concerns against Southampton. They're very vulnerable at the back, and set pieces, I feel like it's an area we could exploit, and they conceded a lot of goals from corner kicks. So, yeah, they're definitely one for the taking this. So hopefully we get the 3 points. Abdulrahim says, could you please provide me with a prediction, lineup for both teams? How will Southampton line up, and aerial breakdown for the upcoming Southampton versus Liverpool match? So I'll just give you a sort of a brief taste of that, but I will be doing a match preview tomorrow at 10 p.m. UK time, so make sure to tune in for that. Then we'll go in full depth with the suggestions you just mentioned there. So yeah, we'll speak about that in more detail tomorrow. Anfield Uncle Ross says, big up, bro. Big up yourself, Anfield Uncle Ross. Thank you for your comment and thank you for tuning in. Steve, big up Steve, says, let's go, champ. Let's go indeed. And Steve says, start Becker on Sunday. Interesting. I don't think we need to rush him, to be fair. I feel like if he is fully fit, I'd let Kelleher play in this fixture, and then I'd bring Alisson for that Real Madrid game. So that would be my thinking. But let's see. And Abdul Rahim says, we need to stop making mistakes in FSG. They need to have ambition. They certainly do. Yeah, this is a time for them to show that ambition. Because if we're able to strengthen the squad in January, when we're on such a high right now, yeah, it will definitely change the tune amongst us Liverpool fans, because that's always been the criticism, where they haven't shown that ambition. They haven't taken that extra step to make sure that Liverpool have every chance of being successful. There's been 2 seasons where we could have won the quad. How many teams can you say have been in that position? Not many. So, if we had strengthened the team at the right time, I would have said Jurgen Klopp would have had more silverware under his resume. But, it is what it is. Steve says, Alias on new kits once next season. They won't allow FSG to let Trent, Van Dijk, Salah leave. Van Dijk, from what I know, doesn't wear Adidas. But in terms of Trent, yep, because he's one of their main brand ambassadors, and Salah wears Adidas boots as well. So, and he's got a global appeal, especially in the Arab world. So, you'd hope Adidas have some sort of influence. I just don't know. I can't put my finger in terms of what is going to happen with these players. I'm praying that they all stay. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see, unfortunately. And then Steve says, FSG give Arne, i.e. Slot or Hincapi, Zubmimendi or Hulman in January 2025. We'll win the title in mid of April. Over to you, FSG. Listen, I mentioned your name earlier on in terms of Hato, because he's a player that we've been linked to recently. For me, he's the guy. He's the answer for that hybrid centre-back, left-back role. I think he ticks all the boxes. That's the guy that I want. I mentioned Zubmimendi as well. I still have reservations in terms of his commitment to joining Liverpool or relocating to a new country. So we'll see. But in terms of ability-wise, yes, that is the profile. Hulman is a good player as well. He could be United-bound. With Amarim joining the other side now. So, you never know. But yeah, I agree. I think if we're able to get at least 1 or 2 bodies through in the January window, we will be in a fantastic position. So let's see. We can all dream, I guess. Steve says Elliot going to cook in Ireland's system as a cam. I'm looking forward to it, to be fair. The glimpses that we saw in pre-season definitely showed me that, you know what, he can really flourish in this number 10 role. So yeah, it will be good to see him back. Just another quality player to have in the ranks, and then we can rotate the squad a little bit more as well. So no, it's good to see him back in training. Elliot, Becker, Jota all back in December. Great news. That is great news indeed. Southampton play great footy. They lack killer finishes up top. They do, but they leak a lot of goals as well. So they're very vulnerable for me at the back. In terms of up front, yeah, they've got Cameron Archer, who can be a bit hit and miss. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz. Why did I just mention the actress name? What's his name? Burton Diaz. Sorry. Yeah, he's not really. He looked good against. He looked good when he played for Sheffield United in the last part of his long spell last season, but he hasn't really continued that form into his new club. So no, they are lacking firepower up top, but they're leaking a lot of goals as well. So definitely feel like we'll get the 3 points there. And Steve says we beat Madrid and City. I agree. I think we do beat both of the teams, especially with Madrid. They don't have the defensive players in place to be solid, and I feel like our style of play might give us the upper hand in terms of having that calm and composed way of playing rather than all guns blazing. Because once you do that, it just opens the door for them to counter-attack us. So if we're a bit more measured, I feel like we could definitely get the win against the Galacticos there. Steve says Newcastle looking to bid for Joe Gomez and Darwin Núñez in January 2025. So I've not heard anything about Darwin Núñez, so that's an interesting one. Would that mean that Isaac is on the move? Possibly, because I've heard rumours circulating that he seems a bit unsettled at the club. So that's an interesting rumour there. And Joe Gomez, he's always been linked with Newcastle. I just hope he stays at the club this year, and then next summer we can revisit his situation and see what he wants to do. But I don't want us selling any players in the January window. Abdul Rahim says, when is Trent coming back? There hasn't been any confirmation. I think the injury that he picked up was not something that was a long-term injury. It was a bit of a knock. So they took him off for precaution. So he could be available. I don't think he'll be available for this game or the Madrid game. Man City might be early shout. So maybe we're looking at the Newcastle game as the next date for him to possibly return to action. But at this stage, there hasn't been any confirmation from the club. And then Steve said rumour is Liverpool might offer Tsimikas plus cash on top for Robinson or for Robbo instead of Tsimikas in the deal. Yeah, I'm not for that deal, to be honest with you. Robinson is a good left back, but why are we swapping players to get him? That doesn't make sense to me. So, no, I wouldn't sign a left back in this window. I think we've got Tsimikas. I know everyone's not pleased with Robertson, but I still feel like he does still offer something for us. I just don't want him to start week in, week out. I feel like he needs to play slightly more of a bit part role this season where, he's rotated and he's playing in certain games. I feel like Tsimikas deserves a run in the team. So to sell Tsimikas for Robinson at this stage of the season would be the wrong decision, in my opinion. Tsimikas probably playing some of his best football in Liverpool colours. So why sell him or swap him at this stage of the season? If Robinson comes in, just because he's Premier League proven doesn't mean he's going to settle in straight away. He might need to take time to get used to how we play. So no, I would be against that move. For the January window, next summer, we'll see. Robinson wouldn't be on top of my list. I'd probably prefer someone like Kerkez. For me, Hato is the guy. That's my number one target. And then Kerkez is another one as well. But Hato is the one that I really like. Also like Nuri, but I think defensively he's questionable. He's probably the perfect wing back. Unfortunately, we don't play that sort of system at the club. So not the right fit for us, unfortunately. Steve said, Chiesa, if you don't move in January, he will be match fit by February 1st, 2025. And then Steve says, Becker fully fit, starting. Fair enough. Steve said, when was the last time cheap FSG signed quality players in January window? When we were top of the label? No, they haven't. We've only signed players in January in reaction of players that we listed as targets for the summer, but we had to move in quickly to make sure we got them before our rivals did. So no, they never signed players when we were top. It's not the way they operate, unfortunately. But you hope things can change. Who knows? Hopeful more than anything else there. And then Steve says, Alias ain't going to PLFC FSG 50 million a year for Ta, VVD, Salah not to be at the club. Yeah, I see your point there. We just, who knows? Who knows what the situation is? I just really hope that all three of the players, I think they're equally as important for the club. Don't really care about the age. I feel like what you're seeing on the pitch right now, they're playing at an elite level. Salah's probably arguably the best right winger in the league. Actually, he's definitely in the league, but in Europe as well. Van Dijk, best centre back, and Trent, best right back. They're the best in their position right now, and they will be in the coming years as well, in my opinion. So it would be suicidal if we let any of them go. That's me being honest. Elliot in an attacking diamond formation with him at the base of it will be pow there. Yeah, look, I'm excited to see how he does there. I still feel like Sabozda has a role to play in this team, but I feel like Elliot, in terms of the way he played, it will suit us, especially against low block teams, where he's able to thread those through balls, the eye of the needle sort of type passes. I feel like he would be a difference maker for us. So whether he starts or he's from the bench, I'm so pleased that he's back because I feel like he will be needed in the coming weeks. Abdul Rahim says swap deal Nunes for Isaac. That would be the dream, Abdul. I would love for that to happen. I'm all for that. Really rate Isaac. Would Newcastle accept that? I don't know. I don't think they would, to be honest, but I'm all for that. That would be a great deal. Steve said Newcastle might cash in on Isaac. Bruno G and Jan. That's interesting. Remains to be seen who would go for both players. I know Bruno was linked to Man City. He could still be a target for them because they do need a player to kind of replace Rodri, but also be an addition to their midfield. They're also linked to Zubmimendi, so that's the profile of players that they're looking at. Yeah, interesting to see what happens with Isaac. I'd take him, but I don't know if Liverpool would want to invest in a striker at this stage of the season. But let's see. Steve said we need a left back. Signed in January. Opposition are attacking our left side when Robo plays. Yeah, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago in terms of him being the weakest link. That's why I feel like Tsimikas needs a run of games because Tsimikas, for me, hasn't been a weak link in our team whenever he's played. He's actually been defensively sound and has really contributed attacking wise as well. So yeah, I think long-term wise, yes, I think we do need to sign the left back. But I don't think that'll be addressed in the January window. That's just my opinion. And we've got Mihaly, big up to yourself, Mihaly. He says, so if Cherki come, Dominic leave in the summer 100%, he's not a bench warmer type guy. The thing is, Cherki, he's multifunctional, so he can play on the right side if required. But yeah, it's an extra body in a position that's, we've got Szoboszlai, we've got Elliot, Jones can play there. On the right wing, we've got Salah, Chiesa, so who knows? I wouldn't want us to sell Szoboszlai, as you probably know, Mihail. I'm a big fan of Szoboszlai. He just hasn't found his form. I know he's been having some great games for Hungary, but for Liverpool, he just hasn't shown that same type of form. So, fingers crossed he does. I've still got high hopes that Szoboszlai will be a hit at Liverpool. Only time will tell if that happens. And then a final comment here. Steve said Newcastle will sell Bruno Gomes and they will come back in for Dominic Szoboszlai. Okay, I didn't know they were in pursuit for him. Hopefully not. I'd want Szoboszlai to stay at the club, but that's just my personal opinion there. Steve says, Man City looking to sign Bruno G. That makes sense. Zubimendi. Okay, that'll be interesting. And Liao, bloody hell, in January. Out goes Silva, Grealish, Doku next summer. If they sign those 3 players, yeah, we got another few charges to add to their existing ones, because that's not fair for them to be signing those 3 players. I can definitely see them signing a midfielder. Liao would probably be a summer signing if they wanted to go to that route. I don't see Liao leaving Milan, though, to be honest with you. I've watched an interview in the past where he's made comments saying that he wouldn't leave and join a league that doesn't have like a hot climate. So that puts England out the door, doesn't it? So I could see him joining a Spanish club more than anything else. So I don't see him being England bound, to say the least. But you never know. Money talks these days, so that's just how it is. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Abdul Rahim. Thank you to Anford Uncle Rods. Thank you to Daz. Thank you to Steve. And thank you to Mihaila as well. Thank you for your comments as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In terms of upcoming content, I'll be doing a match preview of Southampton versus Liverpool. Then I'll also be doing a watch along for that match this weekend as well. So make sure to tune in for that. Then we'll also do a match reaction in the same evening, probably around 11 p.m. So yeah. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you know what time the shows will go live. Also follow me on Instagram at Aussie.ftp. And you can also follow me at Aussie_FTP on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So I'm back on there again now. So if you followed me before, make sure you follow me again. My old account got suspended. So I'm back on Twitter again. So yeah. Not my happy place, but yeah, let's see how it goes, because it can be a bit toxic sometimes, but it's the nature of the game. Let's got a few more comments here before we close. Steve said, we stole Dom from Newcastle last summer. Newcastle chased him for weeks and we got him. I didn't know that, to be honest with you. That's interesting. I know they were linked to him, but I didn't realize that they were actively pursuing the player like that. But yeah, interesting. Mihaly confirms that. Evershe sending Becca Keller next summer. You think they're selling both keepers? And the next comment makes sense as well in terms of Yaros would be our number 2. Yeah, I wouldn't be pleased with that, to be honest with you. I feel like Alisson has to stay. And I think for 1 year, Mamadashvili is probably number 2. And then maybe the year after that, Alisson might want to leave and pursue another challenge elsewhere. But no, I'm not for that. No, I wouldn't be happy about that, to be honest. So Alisson Becker and Kelleher, yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that. And Daz says, where's next FC25 Aussie? Apologies, Daz. I was planning on doing it earlier this week. Just been busy with work and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be back from next week. I'm going to go and do it back to my normal scheduling. So I normally do it every Mondays after my Premier League review show. So that will be 11 p.m. UK time next Monday. So that will be the next show for the FC25 episodes there. So yeah, make sure to tune in for that. Steve says FSU wants to get a big deal for Becker. His deal finishes in 2026, I think. How much would we get for him though? Because do you see a team like Real Madrid or Barcelona signing? Maybe Saudi. Yeah, they offer big money, but would he want to go Saudi at this stage? There's nothing to say he would. So I don't know. Sounds like we're wheeling and dealing again. And some fans will tell you that, oh, we're not a sell to buy club. But if we're selling Becker and Keller and that does become a reality, then you can't tell me otherwise. So who knows? Who knows? that wouldn't bode well with me. I wouldn't want us to sell Alisson and Kelleher. That would be ridiculous, in my opinion. FSG want Becker Soul, get his big wages off the wage bill. Listen, if you're a big club, you got to deal with these big wages. And we not even offer crazy wages in comparison to the Man City and the United and the Real Madrid and the Barcelona. So, yeah, I'm not for it. Steve says Becker to Bayern or Barca. Yeah, I hope not. But Bayern makes probably sense with no possibly retiring at that stage. To stay again is that Barca. So, I don't know. I don't want to think about that, to be fair. I'm hoping that is not the case. I'm hoping Alisson stays. I'd love for Keller to stay, but obviously that's not realistic. I think it's probably the right time for him to move elsewhere and play as a number one goalkeeper. With Mamadashvili coming in, it makes perfect sense. But no, Alisson for me has to stay. How old is he? Like 32? Still world class for me. Very early for him to move on to clubs elsewhere. Like going to Saudi wouldn't even make sense to me, but who knows? Who knows? All speculation at this stage. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I'll be back tomorrow evening. Goodbye.